back. Now I like to do this kind of textured, edgy lob hairstyle, otherwise known as a wob. What is a wob, you may ask? It is a wavy lob. Now I do this quite frequently and I always get asked on my Instagram on how to do it, and I've actually perfected my technique over the last year or so. I've changed a few things up a little bit. I used to always just do a center part, but this one here, I like to do a little bit of a side part every now and then. Mix it up a bit, you know? So if you have lob length hair and you're kind of struggling to get that volume or that texture in there, then just carry on watching. This is a really easy tutorial to take this haircut from something that looks like a primary school kid to super fierce. So I've got freshly washed hair and I've actually blow dried it with some volume boosting mousse. I used this one here, and I pretty much just put a palm-sized dollop of this mousse into the roots of my hair and then blow dried it upside down, so I've got a bit of extra lift in there. So this is not feeling too flat. Like you can see if I puff that up a little bit, it's gonna get nice amount of volume. Now, super great trick if you're gonna do a side part, but you don't want it to be like a slicky side part, but be that like big swoop, is to actually part your hair in the opposite direction first. So I'm gonna part my hair here because this is my better side. But to start off with, while I'm preparing my hair, I'm gonna part it here and lean it all in the opposite direction to where it will end up. Now that's gonna mean that because this hair has been leaning in that direction, once I part it that way, it'll have more volume in the crown there because it'll just have that lift there. So I'm just roughly parting my hair on that side, and I'm going to put the tiniest spritz of hairspray in there. So I find it best to do this hairstyle with like a tight curling iron, because essentially to achieve the texture, you don't want beautiful curls, you want like kinks and sort of rough like movements in your hair. Now the heating tool I'm going to use for this is a 19mm curling iron, which is pretty small, and the reason for that is for this hairstyle I don't want beautiful big waves. I kind of want like rough kinks and just that edgy kind of texture. So I find the 19mm curling iron is the perfect tool for that. Now the first thing I'm going to do is just pretty much part right around where my ear is and separate this top section from that lower little bit. I need a clip. Clippity-doo-dah, clippity-dee. Okay, so I've separated this lower little piece here, and I'm gonna get some texture and volume in there right away. I kind of want these root pieces to have a lot of grit. So to achieve that, I'm gonna use this Batiste Styling XXL. This is like a really intense dry shampoo that just leaves your hair really gritty. So I'm gonna do some spritzes all the way along that part. And you know what? On this bottom piece here, I'm actually gonna do a little bit of back combing too. See how that just holds volume like crazy? I look like a mad professor. Very effective. All right, let's get this looking cool rather than crazy. Essentially what I'm gonna do is take really small, thin pieces, get my curling iron and do one loop around. So if you've got hair my length, all you have to do is do one curl. So the idea with this is that you leave the last inch straight, and that's what's gonna make it look really cool and edgy and modern and blunt, rather than like a kind of, I don't know, Mrs. Doubtfire, like an old-fashioned bob. So I'm just gonna show you what that curl looks like, because that is not a beautiful curl at all, but that's what you're going for. You pretty much just want that one kink in there, and then I'm just gonna twist this little end piece together just to make it even more rough and stick in its own little unit. Then I'm gonna move on to the next piece, and I'm going the opposite direction. So with the first curl, I went towards the back, and now with this one, I'm going to contrast that by facing it towards the front. Irrespective of which direction you're curling, you still kind of want that to flick outwards. So you want that last inch of hair to kind of flick out, not in. Now these curls really don't take a long time. Like, I'm honestly giving it about 5 to 7 seconds because they're just such tiny little bits of hair. And next I'm gonna take out the next kind of third of my hair. So here at the top, I want to keep that parted like that, but just pull this piece back and clip it away. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing to this section of my hair. And again, I'm just going to do a little bit of back combing. On this one here, I'm going to go from underneath rather than on top because I don't want it to look too frizzy towards the top of my hair. So this is where I'm going to get that volume from. And now same thing, I'm going to take small sections, and I like the sections around my face to go backwards. So I like to start off with one back and then go back, front, back, front, back, front. Now it depends how much patience you have, but I found that the smaller the sections, the better it turns out because you keep them all separated and you don't brush them out. So it just looks like more texture and you can kind of just run your hands through it afterwards. Okay, so that layer's done. I'm just gonna leave that to cool. And I'm gonna work on this top section now. Basically what I wanna do now is actually switch up my part. So I'm going to confuse my hair by now bringing it this way. And you can decide how much of a dramatic part you wanna do. See how now naturally that just has a bit of that swooshy kind of curl in it because it's been leaning the opposite direction. Now on this level, I'm not going to put any extra of this XXL. I might put a bit at the end, but I don't want this to get too gritty and frizzy. So you're better off keeping the top bit fresh so that it looks nice and smooth. But essentially the same thing here. Now on this piece here that's been parted in that direction, you've got a little bit of extra length because you've got the hair from that side flipping over. So this is the only part where I want to actually do 2 flips around the curling iron. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and still have a little bit of an inch at the bottom to just chill out and be straight. Now that's going to mean that I've got a little bit of texture further up on my head, whereas on that side, see how the top is quite flat? Okay, so I'm just going to gently run my fingers through, not to break them up too much, but just to kind of get these looking how I want them to. You can break them up from underneath so that it looks like you've got a lot of body there and it doesn't mess these top ones up. So what I'm doing here now is kind of massaging my head, but that's just gonna bring this style kind of together rather than having all separate curls. And where you see that you need a bit of extra volume, you kind of just zhuzh the scalp there to get that extra grit there. Now, hairspray. With this style, I found hairspray can really ruin it if you put too much of it because it ends up looking kind of frizzy and everything, which is not what you want when you're going out anywhere. So what you want to do is go really, really easy on it. So what I like to do is just hairspray from underneath. So I'm going to flip. And a tiny bit in the top section. And flip it back. And that's really all you want to do. So yeah, this is a super easy technique to get that really cool, edgy texture in your hair. It looks awesome, even if you're going to a cocktail party or something to kind of like contrast a dressy outfit. And I just love it. I can't get enough of this hairstyle. I feel like I have 10 times the amount of hair than when I had long hair. And especially when I put a little bit of effort into it and just make it this like bouncy big hairstyle. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. And if you want to see more of them, hit the subscribe button because I make lots of these types of videos. If you have any particular ideas or requests, I'm always open to them. So let me know in the comments down below because it's super helpful when you guys come up with the ideas. And make sure you guys follow me down on my socials like Instagram and Facebook. I'll put the links in the description down below. But for now, I'm over and out and I will see you next time.